You know, it's interesting. On the morning of September 25th, 2016, I knew something was going to happen that would be chaotic and upsetting and sad. And of course, I was right. Because that morning, I went to my job, they have a television, I put it on Sports Center, and instead of previewing all the NFL games like every Sunday usually would, the top headline was Miami Marlins pitcher Jose Fernandez dying in a boating incident. And sure enough, I was right. And how did I know something chaotic was going to happen? Because September 25th was the day after the birthday of one of my auto racing announcer favorites, and the day before the birthday of one of my NASCAR dozen. And that particular day was made worse when we later found out that Arnold Palmer, who's a golfing legend, also died that day. And that entire day gave me flashbacks of a bunch of different things that had gone on. For example, Justin Wilson's death was on August 24th, which is not only in between the birthdays of two of my friends' auto racing favorites, but also the same 2 days, nonetheless, the same birthdays of a NASCAR dozen member and a Game Show 6 member. No joke. I also remember the fact, and this is a tough one for me, one of my friends, her favorite driver, died on the birthday of one of my drag racing favorites. And good Lord, don't get me started on the month of June. As if that particular one wasn't bad enough, you'll be surprised how many deaths in our interests that we've had to go through in the month of June. And among all the people that I like and all my interests, only 6 of them have a birthday in June. And all of them auto racers nonetheless. But good Lord, all of the death rate attacks that happen on or around their birthdays. It's very disheartening. And good Lord, don't even get me started on the month of June 2009. That's a disaster in itself. Sometimes death rate attacks of people I like are very haunting in itself. But then, you hear stories about what happened the day after Fernandez's death. The Marlins were playing the New York Mets. Dee Gordon was the first person at bat. Now, he was in the right-handed pitcher's box above home plate, which is where Fernandez would usually go with the bat. And, of course, Gordon took a ball, the 4 balls, 3 strikes thing. And then Gordon went back to his original position in the left-handed batter's box, and the first pitch thrown to him hits a home run. And by the way, this was a Marlins home game, I think. Yeah, it was. And it kind of felt like destiny at that point. And then something interesting happened. I then started thinking to myself, what are some of the biggest destiny races in auto racing history? Now, of course, not every destiny race is related to a person's death in auto racing. It could be their very last win before something happened. It could be someone winning and it has an association with someone who just died. But then you have those other destiny races that are like payback for something else or a final ultimate triumph before a career goes downhill. And even though most of the destiny races in this countdown are related to someone's death this was a pretty interesting topic. And if you guys have any examples that you want to share with me in the comments section about Destiny Race, go ahead and be my guest. Because this was a pretty interesting topic. I'm glad I did this one. So let's go. This is Top 10 Countdown. Destiny Races. So in late 2008, the IRS made a false claim that Elio Castroneves and his sister were evading taxes by putting money into an offshore account. Elio and his sister, knowing they were innocent, of course fought back, despite the indictment that the IRS had landed on both of them. In early 2009, despite missing an IndyCar race, Elio and his sister were acquitted of all charges, except one which ended up in a hung jury. So basically, not guilty on all counts. And there was only one way to get true payback on the IRS. Thus, number 10 on the countdown.
1 lap to go. 2.5 miles. 4 corners. And Roger Penske doesn't even crack a smile. Never. But he knows what he's about to experience as well. Down the back straightaway for the final time. 1 mile to go. 2 corners. This crowd, look at them, just saluting him. 5 weeks ago, Elio Castroneves was staring at jail, an orange suit, not a race suit. And now he becomes a 3-time winner of the biggest race in the world. Elio Castroneves wins at Indy.
At the moment of taping, this is the only Indy 500 in which one of my friend's favorites and one of my favorites finished 1-2. And even though I was a bit bummed because one of my guys ended up finishing second instead of first, I was happy about the fact that if none of my guys could have won, Elio did. It's 6 to go at Talladega, and Dale Earnhardt Sr. is in 18th place. Let's watch.
Lady on the outside, Rich Bickle on the inside. It'll be 5 to go. This time by one handful waved by Rodney Wise from the flag stand. 5 laps away from the checkered flag in a 30-second run to the Western 500.
Well, that front group there are protecting that inside. Every one of them. They've seen cars try to take a shot at them up on the high side. Did Earnhardt make contact with somebody there?
He was on the inside of Rich Bickle, and they're going to the grass. Always, Earnhardt, if you're going to pass him on the inside, it's going to be on the grass, Ned. He's down on the very bottom of the racetrack. And Mark Martinell was on the high side. He's getting shuffled way back.
Let's show you what happened a moment ago with Earnhardt there on the left side of your screen. Watch the 3 car.
That's Rich Bickle on his outside. They go down in the corner, and all 3 cars touch. Rusty Walsh and Bickle touch with Bickle's right side, Earnhardt's right side, and Bickle's left side touch.
Now less than 5 to go. Look at this pack of cars. Here comes Skinner on the outside. He faked the move to the inside. Will he have a drafting partner? He is now dead even door to door with Bobby Labonte.
He's got John Andretti up there and other cars that are falling on that outside line there now. That inside has not been protected the way it was.
Folks, the last time we had this many different leaders, we saw a first-time winner. Whoa!
He is on the grass. He really was on the grass, folks. And he don't have mud tires. He was...
Wow. At 190 miles per hour, he was on the grass in the backstretch.
Earnhardt trying to come up through the middle.
And Skinner has taken the lead. Going in turn 3, it's Skinner with the lead.
I started to say the last time we had this many lead changes, we ended up with a first-time winner at Talladega. It was Bobby Hillin that day. Will it be Mike Skinner today? Here comes John Andretti. The Cheerio Pontiac flashing by.
Oh, no, there's on the inside, John. He's on the inside.
Now they're 4 wide for the lead. Well, for second it is now.
4 abreast. Talking about first-time winners. Skinner trying to hang on. Earnhardt Jr. is a two-time winner this year. Now they are 5 wide with 3 laps to go at Talladega.
Now, there ain't 3 laps to go. There ain't no way they can run 3 laps like this.
Hold your breath, folks. Less than 3 laps to go. Who's going to win it? 47 lead changes, 21 different drivers. Mark Martin trying to plow his way through a minefield of race cars at 190 miles an hour. And here comes Earnhardt.
How did he get through all these cars? I don't understand how he did that.
The Intimidator is scraped and beat on the right side, but he will not be denied. Mr. Restrictor Plate knows there are 2 laps to go. Earnhardt climbs to the high side of Bobby Labonte. Wow. You see him motioning. He's motioning the 55 car of Kenny Wallace to give me a bump. Come on, Kenny, give me a shove.
And Earnhardt is going for the lead.
And listen to this crowd of 170,000 strong.
Richard Childress, both his cars running 1-2 as he comes for the white flag. What? Ooh, Earnhardt loose. Dale Jr. out on the inside, but he gets him back in. He's on the apron of the racetrack, Ned.
He saves the race car up almost against Bobby Labonte. Dale Earnhardt Sr. has come from 17th spot in 4 laps to lead it on the final lap.
But Kenny Wallace is in second spot, followed by
his teammate,
Joe Nemechek.
Nemechek was the pole sitter, and Kenny Wallace has likewise never won a Winston Cup race. 3 Chevrolets on the final lap at Talladega. $2.7 million and $1 million bonus for Dale Earnhardt if he can hang on. The no ball 5 contender, Mr. Restrictor Plate, Dale Earnhardt comes down and will take his 10th career victory at Talladega in the Winston 500.
A crash as the team across the start-finish line.
And cars slipping and sliding everywhere across the racetrack as the checkered flag waves. The 22 was involved, Ward Burton was involved, the 9 car was sliding.
The 44 of Steve Grissom was sliding.
A.C. Compton was involved. And there, that big fist out the window, Earnhardt pulls up and says, "Thank you, Kenny Wallace."
Even though a boatload of circumstances helped Dale Sr. to victory that day, at least in my book, this race was by far a destiny race for a few obvious reasons. It was Dale Sr.'s last win in NASCAR. It was at the track he is the most beloved at, and his performance in this race, albeit with some help, is a big part of his legacy in NASCAR. It was the week after Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s tragic and shocking death, and everyone was hurting. Only a few things could have made the people begin the healing process starting at the next race at Rockingham. And of course, leave it to Dale's team to begin the healing process, with a driver that Dale Sr. himself handpicked.
Steve Park trying to give Dale Earnhardt Incorporated its 2nd straight Winston Cup win. Oxy from 3 and 4. Labonte goes to the high side. Park to the bottom side.
Park's not going to get. He's not going to get. He's not going to give him room off that corner. Although he's pulled down a little bit. Here we go.
He runs him all the way up to the wall in turn 3 and 4. They'll be coming for the white flag.
Here we go. Oh, he wiggled.
Labonte gets loose. 1 lap to go. This is it.
Park wiggled and got into Labonte. He's going to make a run on the outside right here. Come on, buddy.
Steve Park trying for his 2nd Winston Cup win.
Got to run.
Labonte.
He's got to run down the inside. Park blocks him a little bit.
Couldn't block him.
All right, Bobby's off early. He's off early. He's going to gas it hard, and here they're going to come to the line. It's going to be a photo finish.
Park has the run off the high side. He clears Labonte, and Steve Park scores the 2nd straight win for Earnhardt Incorporated and the 2nd win of his career.
Man, what a great finish. It's just so hard. Catching him was one thing. Passing him, as we always say, that's another.
Michael Waltrip last week, Steve Park this week.
Boy, and that team, That company, Dale Earnhardt Incorporated, they needed that.
With an Earnhardt hat in his hand, Steve Park will drive to victory lane. His dad, Bob Park, a great modified driver who now works as a gear specialist on that car, will be among those to greet him.
Steve Park on his way out of the race car. We're going to give him a second to get out of here. Incredible run. A wave to the crowd. Jumps on the roof. High fives all around. Oh, he dives. He dives.
It's a mosh pit. It's a mosh pit.
Steve, have you ever tried harder to win a race than today?
Oh, man, I brought tears to my eyes. I don't know what to say. Just want to thank Teresa. You know, Dale's the one who taught me how to drive this place, and he told me to stay off the brakes, and we stayed off the brakes all day long and won the race. So, you know, God bless the whole family. Thank God for this. He's been with us all weekend. You know, we also like to thank Pennzoil. They've just been a great sponsor. We got a great race team here. Nabisco, Nutter Butter, Snap-on Tools, just all the guys. Coca-Cola. I mean,
how about those last couple of laps? How difficult were those laps? You knew Bobby Labonte was all over you.
yeah. You know, thank God it was Bobby Labonte. I mean, he drove me so clean. We ran so many laps on our tires, and I was running out of fuel at the end, and I thought there was no way we were going to win this race, and we did. I mean,
was this just meant to be?
It was just meant to be. I mean, the good Lord was shining down on us, and I'd like to say hello to my mom and dad. I love you guys. They're home. They couldn't be here because it was a rain-delayed event, but just an emotional win.
Great job, Steve Park. Congratulations. Mike Joy.
Also, don't leave yet, Mike. I got a lot to say. I got to thank Paul Andrews, Dave Charpentier, Steve Meal. Look at these guys right here. These are the best. We got the best engine shop. We like to thank Goodyear. And how about this Chevrolet Monte Carlo? We got one in Victory Lane. My mom's got one at home she drives around. So we got probably one of the best cars out here, too.
Final lap. The number 28 stays in first. 3.5 seconds back to Bill Elliott. And for Ernie Irvan, a guy who gave everything nearly, just about everything, 10% chance of living after that crash in '94 right here in turn 2. Here he comes around, headed for checkers. Ernie Irvan is finally going to win the track that nearly did him in. Ernie Irvan for the checkered flag, and he's won the Michigan 400.
That's a great race. It's good to see.
Bill Elliott for second, Mark Martin for third. Bill Elliott, he's stomping again and looking great. Mark Martin in third, Musgrave is fourth, Gordon is fifth. Dale Jarrett's going to settle for sixth. How about that performance by Ernie Irvan?
Ernie Irvan climbs out of his Robert Yates Thunderbird. Ernie, this track nearly took your life. Today, you took something back from it, a big win.
I'll tell you, it's pretty emotional. Started about 10 laps to go, started getting tears in my eyes. I tell you, it's great. Only in America, you know what I mean? This Texaco Havoline Ford race team, all the sponsors are unbelievable. And this is the best place to do it. This is Ford Motor Company. You know, this is their home base in Detroit. And it's great.
A lot of people maybe had written you off after the crash. After this year went along here without a win, people were saying he's moving on, he might not be here, and you told me yesterday what you've got to do is win consistently. You took a big step today.
Well, I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, you know, it's a lot easier to get sponsors to rally behind you when you win. And, you know, we've been real close this year, but it's just a matter of some bad luck. And, you know, the only way we can get good luck is just keep preparing ourselves and be able to get good race cars every day.
The destiny part about this win is not just the fact that this was Ernie's last win in NASCAR, but also the fact that 2 years later, at Michigan nonetheless, he had another horrendous practice crash, and Ernie decided to retire a week later. At the time of Ernie's win, I was a bit bummed considering that Bill Elliott, my only driver at the time, finished second. But after Ernie's retirement, I came to appreciate it a bit more. Though I'm kind of still bitter that Bill didn't win. But anyway.
I'm not going to try and fool you. This will not be easy. Last Sunday, a plane carrying 10 people to the race in Martinsville crashed into a Virginia mountainside. There were no survivors. 9 of the people on board were members of Hendrick Motorsports and its extended family. Tony Stewart's helicopter pilot was a passenger on that plane. Our deepest sympathies to the friends, the families, and the co-workers of those that were lost. In a short while, the green flag will fly, the race will begin, and our lives will move forward. But the aching and the emptiness will go with us.
White flag is up. Final lap in Atlanta. Jimmie Johnson leading Mark Martin.
Got through there a little bit better this time, Jimmie Johnson, but Mark still gained on him just a touch. But Johnson's got it. I mean, unless he makes a big mistake at 3 and 4, Mark can't do it.
This could be 3 in a row for that 48 car.
Buddy, come on, bring it home. Bring it home. Jimmie, don't do any burnouts, buddy.
The emotions of the victory for Jimmie Johnson. He wins in Atlanta for Hendrick Motorsports.
I tell you, that's good stuff.
In loving memory all the way.
And what more can you say?
Nothing.
In loving memory all the way. Jimmie Johnson with his 7th victory of the season after a terrible, terrible 7 days for the Navajo of Hendrick Motorsports.
The adrenaline comes down and the emotion hits.
Yep.
Just an emotional day down here. And an emotional victory. You brought Rick Hendrick and Hendrick Motorsports back to victory lane with Jimmie Johnson behind the wheel, Chad.
This has been the hardest week of my life. Dealing with the loss that we had and trying to get back to the racetrack and do the jobs that we've got to do and do what it is that Mr. Hendrick loves the most, and that's racing. And for us to try to put all that stuff behind us and do what it is that we need to do was just, it was hard, but we did it for him and we did it for the love of Rick and Linda and the rest of the Hendrick family and the Turners and Liz and Dick. I mean, it's absolutely amazing. You know, poor Scott. It's just awesome.
Seems like it was meant to be.
That's the man that did it right there. He just, I don't know if it was meant to be or not, but I guarantee you, Randy Norton, it wasn't just his engine under the hood today.
Jimmie Johnson with the reverse victory lap, kind of combining several different victory traditions that have come to be in NASCAR. Of course, the late Alan Kulwicki made the reverse victory lap famous when he scored that first win at Phoenix International Raceway back in the late 1980s. And Terry Labonte getting the victory flag dropped at the Southern 500 last year and taking it for a good old-fashioned ride around the racetrack for Hendrick Motorsports that day. Crews of all the 5 different teams for Hendrick Motorsports beginning to work their way into the winner's circle now.
Hey, boss. How about that?
Now a cell phone call and a big smile, and you can only imagine that has to be Rick Hendrick on the other end of that line. Probably heard him say, "Hey, boss." Ken Howes handed him the phone. Ken, a long time Hendrick Motorsports member of the family. I think Jimmie wants to get out. He's just not sure he can. A deep breath. It is perfectly silent at this racetrack. Until now. It's what you wanted.
There is no medicine like that. It doesn't change anything, and we don't get back our friends that we've lost. But it sure makes it feel better to do something like this, and it's just unbelievable. As you can imagine, lost for words, and I just don't even know where to start. I got to thank my crew guys, everybody at Hendrick Motorsports, to have such a difficult week, to be able to bounce back and to do this. I don't even know what to say. This is unbelievable. I just talked to Rick on the phone. He said put my hat on backwards for little Ricky. So there it is for little Ricky. Randy Dorton, Joe Jackson, Liz and Dick, Jeff Turner.
Joe Jackson. I mean, everybody. It's just unbelievable. I don't even know what to say. This Lowe's car, all the support from this team, from everyone. This is a special deal. Big day in the points. I don't even know what to say, Bill.
Proud of you, buddy. Proud of you. How's it doing?
There he is.
Thank you. Is that awesome? That's too cool. Coming to you
Well, Terry Labonte, Jeff Gordon, Chad Canals, Brian Vickers are all here. You guys are all in victory lane. This is a family celebration, I imagine, Terry.
Well, it really is, and you know, I'm so proud of Jimmy and his team, and for them to come back from such a tough week that we all had, and be able to win this race for Rick and all the families and everybody at Hendrick Motorsports is really a special day. So it's awesome. Jeff, your thoughts?
I couldn't have said it any better. You know, this is a family organization, and I'm just so proud of Jimmy and Chad and this entire Lowe's team. You know, we all want a victory here. All four of us are trying so hard for it, and I just know, you know, there's a lot of smiles out there, and that's so awesome, and just proud of the whole organization for coming together and stepping up the way they did and pulling this victory off. It's just amazing.
And this young kid over here, you got your hat on backwards, you got your 5 up there, you finally got a big smile on your face, and I know that's tough.
Yeah, finally. You know, we all wanted to win. You know, this is one of the hats Ricky gave me, and he always he liked to wear it backwards, and we got orders from the boss. Thanks, Rick, for everybody everybody following through with it. But you know, it was you know, we all wanted to win, and I can't say enough about this organization. Congratulations to Jimmy. They did a great job, and Chad. This organization is unbelievable. You know, those Dorton Motors are awesome, and I also want to thank you know, Marshall for being here. It was good to see a family member here at the racetrack this weekend, and I think it lifted the spirits of everybody and meant a lot.
Enjoy your afternoon.
Thanks.
A family celebration in victory lane for Hendrick Motorsports after Jimmie Johnson wins today here in Atlanta.
The 25-year-old starts 5th and only his 3rd NASCAR Winston Cup start. A yellow stripe may be on his bumper, but this rookie has handled the pressure of an impossible situation like a veteran. Today, he hopes to leave one more RCR victory mark in Atlanta, but he has to climb that mountain at his own pace.
I don't think Dale Jr. will get, well, he's going to get
3 wide line. Harvick the leader. Harvick eased it into 3 to get a good run off 4, and it got him the lead. 5 laps to go.
This is ingredients for a 5-car wreck. This is incredible.
Look at them. They're all over the place, high, low, and in the middle. And Harvick clears Nadeau for the lead.
Dale Jarrett, he gets loose up there off turn 2, falls back to 4. Jeff Gordon's up in the 3rd place. They go down in the 3rd turn. Gordon's going to go high on the outside. He's back in the gas. He's going to drive alongside Nadeau.
Junior on the bottom, can't do anything with Jarrett. Loosens up Jarrett.
Boy, Jarrett and Dale Jr. almost.
Now, remember, as Harvick's wife looks on, Delana.
Brand new wife, by the way.
That's right.
1 week old.
Now, remember, Gordon owes Nadeau a favor. He's going to try to help push Jerry Nadeau to the lead. Kevin Harvick trying to become only the 5th driver in NASCAR history to win in only his 3rd Winston Cup start.
And I know Richard Childress has got to be jumping up and down with joy right now, no matter what happens.
And somewhere, too, must be Dale Earnhardt, because this is his car that Kevin Harvick is driving. The paint is different, the number is different. But not since Dan Gurney in 1963 at Riverside, California, as a driver won in his 3rd start.
Jeff Gordon's going to give it all he's got this turn. This time he's going to try to go down bottom. He's going to try to get down under him.
Gets a good run there in the middle of 3 and 4. They'll be coming for the white flag right here. 1 lap to go. The Childress team trying to go to victory lane for the 2nd year in a row in this race.
We had a photo finish here last race. We're getting ready for another one, folks. Get up off your seats. Here they go.
For 2 in a row, trying to set him up.
Gordon's going to make the big move on the inside when they get down here to turn 3. Slow car might be in the way. Here he comes. He's going to drive it to the bottom.
Oh, Harvick's leaving a lot of bottom open.
The slow car is going to be in the way.
Just like a year ago, he's going to get him, though. He's going to get him. Gordon got loose. It's Harvick.
Harvick by inches. Harvick by inches. Harvick by inches. What a race. What a finish.
How did Jeff Gordon hang on to that car that loose off turn 4?
Man.
We got him. Tell me we got him.
29 car. You got him, buddy. Harvick, you got him. Man.
For the win.
That is ever so
6/1,000ths of a second. A replay of a year ago with Dale Earnhardt and Bobby Labonte.
That's an incredible finish. What a job for that young man.
Somewhere up there, I think Dale's smiling.
And Dale is jumping up and down right now. Good job, guys.
So.
Where is he?
Folks, this is Dale Earnhardt's car and team. And Kevin Harvick, the young man Richard Childress tapped, is doing a John Force down the front straightaway.
Hey, listen to the crowd. I mean, that's incredible.
Richard, what an emotional win. What does this afternoon mean to you?
Hard to say. I'm just thrilled. I kept praying for Dale to help us. He did.
Richard, I saw you say something to Danny Earnhardt, Dale's brother. What'd you say?
This is for Dale.
Look at Kevin Harvick as the fans saluted Dale with the number 3 on the 3rd lap. Kevin Harvick salutes him on the way to victory lane.
If I was him, I'd run that thing out of gas riding around here.
What could be more fitting? What could be more special? And here's the crew looking on as they came to the line.
Chocolate Myers right there, been with Dale for 100 years. All these guys, this means so much to them.
They think they did. They think they did.
I'm sure they wondered if they'd ever win another race after Dale was gone, but they have answered that question big time today.
If you look up the 2001 Cracker Barrel 500 on YouTube, this is the description that you will see. Along with the fact that this was Kevin Harvick's 3rd career race, all the numerology that was proven, not only in this description, but this race itself, makes it one of the grandest destiny races of all time.
She was 0.08 of a second late off the starting line. Then it became Matt Hines' turn to put away David Schultz. Schultz riding again, even though undergoing chemotherapy, and he strapped it to Matt Hines, who was late. And Angel, the #1 qualifier, just realized that she has clinched her first ever Winston Championship. There is the $30,000 that goes to Angel as the Winston title holder. David Schultz, Joe DeSantis, first pair out, semifinal round.
Schultz has lane choice. He took the far lane. Really remarkable. Everybody's been taking the near lane.
Suzuki of David Schultz goes 7:29, quicker than his qualifying time at 182 miles an hour. This, folks, is a man that is about a third of the way through a chemotherapy program for a very serious cancer problem, but the doctors cleared him to ride, and here he is in the title round at the Matco Tools Super Nationals. Remarkable indeed. Dave?
Well, Bill, we started this weekend talking about the big comeback of Tony Schumacher, but how about this comeback? David Schultz back on the Sunoco Suzuki and getting the job done. You got to be excited, feeling good going into this final.
Yeah, this is great. You know, I came here just wanting to ride the bike again. It had been Brainerd since I had ridden last, and I just wanted to get back out of here on the bike and ride again. And it's been great therapy for Dave Schultz.
You were talking about Pomona, so obviously, can we take some positive things out of this, that things are progressing well?
Yeah, things are going along well. You know, I've got a big battle to go through here, but I'm looking forward to this next round. That's all I care about right now.
Lots of fans in Dave Schultz's corner. Good luck today.
Thank you.
David Schultz battling cancer. He is right in the middle of his chemotherapy program, and everybody wishes him the very best, not only in today's race, but the battle against cancer as well.
Whether David Schultz gets to the finish line first or not, he is the biggest winner out here this weekend. He's battling with cancer, and it's just wonderful to see him here.
Here's a guy that is undergoing chemotherapy. Take a look at how they made it, and there's who they defeated. Wife Meredith, and she will throw a switch there and give a pat to David and say, hey, go out there and win this one. Greg Cope doing the same for Gino Scali. Lane comparison, just about as it has been on all the rest of them, the near lane. In the best. Well, if that one doesn't give you goosebumps, I don't know what will. As Meredith Schultz celebrates David Schultz, and his Sunoco Suzuki wins 7:29 to a losing 7:30. David Reef.
Down with his wife, Meredith, how proud are you about this accomplishment?
This is me. Missed me so much of this team this weekend. You just don't even know. It's such a morale booster for Dave for the upcoming months that he's got. And I can't tell you how happy we are right now.
And how about the fan support all weekend? Tremendous.
It's been tremendous. We've had supporters come up to us all weekend long and just tell us, you know, they're right behind us.
It's time to go celebrate another national event win. Congratulations.
Good run, man.
Remarkable accomplishment by David Schultz as Gino Scali comes up alongside. And Shelley, he ran very good all weekend long. He was in the 720 zone just like the best of the best. And that's what he is here at the Matco Tools Super Nationals.
That's why he's a six-time world champion. Look at him in the far lane. He had a great light, a .432. He left on Gino Scali by about 300ths of a second. He was on the center line. He brought it back, and he got the win.
There it is, just about a bike length, if you will, with a little bit of daylight showing, or if you use the wheelie bars, right on the tail. Schultz drifted a little bit out of the center of the lane, but it did not seem to disturb him at all as he crossed the finish line, the champion here in Houston. Great shot from high above the finish. Saw how close he got over to the center line. Still had a few inches yet to go. Bill Stevens, I see the smile on David.
What a great moment down here, Mac. Dave Schultz getting his national event trophy from Jackie Beck, Miss Winston, our friends from Matco Tools. And Dave, you came to this track not even knowing if you could race this weekend. Could you ever expect it would end this way?
No, I really didn't. I came to this track and I had John Smith on call. I wasn't sure if I was strong enough to race right now. When I left Brainerd, I wasn't positive that I'd ever race again. But chemotherapy's going well. You know, things are coming right along, and this is the best therapy I could ever have.
He is a legend in this class, and I think, Mac, that the legend has just grown a bit.
Oh, by leaps and bounds, Bill Stevens.
I wouldn't be surprised if most of you, if not all of you, aren't familiar with the story of Dave Schultz. Dave was diagnosed with cancer in the middle of 2000, started chemotherapy, and in the middle of that treatment was cleared to run some of the NHRA post-stock bike races in the fall of 2000, winning the final at Dallas. Sadly, that was his last career win, though, as cancer won the battle against him on February 11th, 2001. That's right, the week before Dale Earnhardt Sr.'s death at the Daytona 500. The fact that Dave won a race while fighting a bigger opponent at the same time makes this a true destiny race worth celebrating and remembering.
Darryl Russell, he's trying to just get back into the winner's column. I mean, it's been a long time since he has won a national event.
Well, Marty, you have the two best cars here in the final. They've really been running. Both teams have been doing a good job today. It's unfortunate that Darryl Russell didn't get a lap time in the semifinals. He might have had lane choice. I think
the 2004 Pontiac Excitement Nationals in Ohio is one of my favorite drag racing events of all time. Mainly because of the fact that all of the finalists in the Top Fuel and Funny Car finals are four of my racing favorites in the NHRA. And especially the Top Fuel final because it's two of my favorites all time. It was Tony Schumacher versus Darryl Russell. And believe me, this one was a classic.
There is Joe Amato celebrating his 60th birthday. Is it going to be a party, or is the candle about to be blown out by the Army of One? Dupuis crosses himself. He is wanting this one badly. Both cars pre-staged. Here we go.
and the win light to Darryl Russell. Happy birthday, Joe Amato. 4.56 seconds, 326 miles an hour. Parker.
Joe Amato, racing is a business. You had to justify buying that new car. When one wasn't justified, you know all about superstition and good luck. It worked.
Well, it worked. You know, the bug almost got us a lane choice, but Wayne and the whole team have been a great job. You know, it's been a year since we got a winner's circle, and we're really working hard trying to get a sponsor for next year. And all the people that, you know, the Keystone, all the people from DZ and Valvoline that have hung with us, and Autolite and Fram, and they gave us great parts and support. And I can't say enough. You know, my birthday, you know, I've had what a birthday present, huh?
Happy birthday, Joe. Marty?
And there's Joe celebrating, and what a close finish. What a great drag race. There is Darryl Russell. And he has jumped from 7th to 4th in the points. Let's go to Bill.
Twice Darryl Russell in the last 3 years you've been denied here, but to finally do it on Joe's birthday, how perfect is that?
Bill, I can't tell you. This team has worked so hard. These guys, I mean, the hours they put in to try to get this car to be consistent, and it looks like it's finally showing some signs of life. I mean, I can't say enough. I mean, it's been almost 2 years, and it's so easy to doubt yourself when you're not winning races and thinking all the things you could be doing better. But, man, I'm telling you, for this whole team, all of our sponsors, DZ, Driver FX, Valvoline, Mac Tools, all you guys, we can't thank you enough. But, man, this is fantastic.
So yeah, Darryl Russell's last win came against one of the most, if not the most, dominant drivers in Top Fuel history. And it also occurred on Joe Amato's 60th birthday. Joe Amato is not only another racing favorite of mine from the NHRA, but he was also Darryl's car owner. Wait, did I say last win? Well, 2 weeks later, on Johnny Benson's birthday nonetheless, the NHRA was at Gateway, and just like Ohio, Darryl's second-round opponent was, of course, Scott Coletta. That time at Gateway, Scott had won the round, but no one was watching the scoreboard. After the finish line, one of the tires on Darryl's car exploded, resulting in something striking Darryl's helmet, which ended up killing him. His death is one of 2 in auto racing, which still haunt me a bit to this day. And the fact that it was on Johnny Benson's birthday makes it way more worse for me than you can possibly imagine. And you can guess, with all the factors that happened in the Ohio Top Fuel final, why it's one of the biggest destiny races of all time. At least for me. Well, here we go with this garbage again. So you're asking yourself, why did I re-upload this video? Well, once again, Viacom decided to black flag one of my videos. In this instance, it's my Destiny Race video. But it's kind of funny, because the segment they black flagged was actually something they had no part of. And that was the 2001 Pepsi 400. That's race number 2. It's the race known for Dale Jr. getting his payback after what happened with his dad at the previous Daytona race. But it's funny because the segment that Viacom black flagged was the part right before Dale Jr. took the lead. So I'm not going to do one of my diecast car collaboration thingies. I'm going to do something different. I'm just going to cut out all of the stuff I had in the original video and just give you the last lap, or last half lap, I haven't decided. You'll see in a few seconds. So, anyway, here's a condensed version of number 2.
Bobby Labonte looking for some help, trying to get up there. His teammate Tony Stewart has never answered the black flag.
And they're 4 wide, back between the Wallace boys.
Here they come, turn 4, final lap of the Pepsi 400. Michael Waltrip in second, but it's going to be Dale Earnhardt Jr. using lessons learned from his father to go from 6th to 1st and score the victory in the Pepsi 400.
That's unbelievable.
Yes!
That man behind you did it for you. You guys celebrate. Love you, man. You did it.
That was beautiful. Very, very nice. Junior, you're happy.
All right,
look at that smile.
Wow. I don't think there's anybody here that didn't want to see that.
The 1998 Daytona 500, when his father finally won the Great American Race, he threw the car into the grass doing victory donuts. Everybody joining in the celebration. That's Chocolate Myers, long-time crewman for Dale at Richard Childress Racing. Sixth to first in the final 6 laps. All right, Mikey, you celebrate too. You never got to celebrate your win in February. You celebrate now.
This race would be the finale of the 3 post-Dale Sr. related Destiny races. One for DEI itself, one for RCR, and one for Dale Jr. But there is one race that combines all those factors and then some. Which leads us to number 1. When I decided to do this countdown, it was fairly obvious what number 1 was going to be. The top Destiny race throughout auto racing history had to have a story of redemption, payback. It had to be at a big-time race. And of course, like some of the Destiny races, it had to feature a sad ending. And if you know me very well, the number 1 would have been fairly obvious from the start. And that's why the number 1 Destiny race of all time, by far, is the 2011 Indy 500.
Outside row for yet another rookie in the field, J.R. Hildebrand.
In 2011, Panther Racing hired rookie driver J.R. Hildebrand to drive their number 4 car. The driver that Hildebrand replaced was Dan Wheldon, one of my IndyCar favorites, who drove for Panther the prior 2 seasons. Dan was without a ride for 2011 until the Indy 500, where he teamed with former Andretti Racing teammate Brian Herta. Towards the end of the 2011 Indy 500, it was anybody's guess as to who was going to win. First, it looked like Danica Patrick was going to win. Then it looked like Bertrand Baguette was going to win. Then when he had to pit for fuel with 3 laps to go, J.R. Hildebrand took the lead.
Rick, give us an update on J.R. Hildebrand.
Well, let's talk about what happened last year. That's what's significant. Dan Wheldon was driving for Panther at the time. Remember, he pitted early. He saved fuel at the beginning of the stint. As a result, because he saved fuel at the beginning of the stint, Wheldon was able to run fast at the end, at the very end of the race. They've done the same thing with J.R. Hildebrand. He pitted early, saved fuel at the beginning of the stint, so you have it to run at the end, and that's what he's doing right now. Could he be the next rookie winner of the Indy 500?
His last lap was at 2:16.
Well, Scott Dixon has gotten around, and so has Dan Wheldon. Dario Franchitti is 4th, so his chances look like they have faded for the year. Here comes J.R. Hildebrand, this time by. The white flag is in hand. 2.5 miles. Keep going. The 23-year-old from Sausalito, California. Listen to the crowd cheer him on.
And how fitting for the National Guard car to win if he can indeed do that. Has he got enough fuel to make it to the end?
Half a lap. He's got half a lap to go, and he's the Indy 500 champion.
Panther Racing, oh so good. They finished second here. Twice here they come again through the final 2 corners. J.R. Hildebrand.
Careful of traffic.
He's got to get around the lap. Traffic. 100 years from now. He hit the wall. Just like Thomas Schaefer. Keeps their foot on the gas. Dan Wheldon is going to win the race.
That is unbelievable. Oh my goodness.
I myself got back from a trip to the mountains during the Coca-Cola 600 later that day, and when I put it on SportsCenter to see who won, I saw on the bottom of the screen that Dan won, and I was ecstatic. Then on SportsCenter itself, I saw how he won, and I was giddy and stunned all at once. With the issues that Dan and Panther Racing had at the end of their relationship, it appeared that J.R. Hildebrand was just an innocent victim caught in the middle of circumstance. And while the payback against Panther Racing was pretty sweet, Dan had more important things on his mind.
Dan, congratulations on winning the Indianapolis 500. I know so many emotions must be going through your mind. What did you think when you came around 4 and saw Hildebrand in the wall?
You know, I was just trying to go as hard as I could. I knew it was the last lap, and they said that a lot of those guys were struggling on fuel, and I just kept pushing. You know, I just want to say thank you, obviously, to my wife for the support through being a part-timer right now. So it's a fantastic achievement to the fans for being here, for Brian Herter and everybody at Brian Herter Autosport that, you know, have just given me such a dream ride, and there's so many other people I want to thank. I want to thank Honda. Honda have always been behind me 110%. There's no organization like Honda. William Rast, I mean, totally my style. It's a great sponsor for me. I feel like a fashionista, so I'm going to be wearing jeans tomorrow night. I know I'm supposed to dress smart, but I'm going to be wearing my William Rast jeans and, you know, Curb Records, Big Machine Records, Forsyth Solutions, Igo. It's been absolutely phenomenal, but I love Indianapolis. I love the people. You know, I love everything about it. The tradition, the history, Firestone. I don't know what to say anymore. I'm not.
Take us back to the moment that you actually saw Hildebrand in the wall and you knew you were going to win the Indianapolis 500.
I just felt a lot of relief. Obviously, I knew it was okay because I could see him moving, but you know, it's an incredible feeling. I've been runner-up the 2 years before this, and I never gave up. I mean, Canard nearly put me in the wall going into 3, which was very, very interesting. But there's a lot of great storylines today, and I want to say hi to my family back home and my mother, and you know, the Alzheimer's Association for giving me the opportunity to represent them. It's just an incredible day.
Congratulations, Dan Wheldon, the winner of the Centennial Anniversary Indianapolis 500.
Taking my kids to Disney, baby. I'm taking my kids to Disney.
Of course, if the story ended there, it would only be a vengeance race. But it didn't. I'm pretty sure you know the rest of the story. 5 months later, 2 days after my birthday, the IndyCar Series had what was supposed to be their season finale at Las Vegas. Since no driver from any other racing series came for the championship challenge, which was win and you and a fan get $5 million, Dan himself took the challenge and all he had to do was win by starting last, or 34th in this case. But you know that story. There was a big ferocious crash on lap 12. A few drivers were injured, Dan being one of them. And after 2 hours, the update that no one wanted was announced. When Dan Wheldon died, the realization that his last win was the ultimate destiny race became reality. It wasn't a payback race that a lot of us had first thought. Like Darryl Russell's death, Dan Wheldon's death was the other racing death that still hurts me a bit today. His made worse by the fact it was 2 days after my birthday. At least I now know how much destiny intervened to allow how the 2011 Indy 500 ended to happen. That's part of the reason why I truly believe that Indy does owe J.R. Hildebrand a win. Maybe he'll get that win one day. Regardless, destiny was in play for that race, as for all the races in this countdown, but none more than the 2011 Indy 500. It's one of the most incredible finishes ever in the history of auto racing, but it's also one of the most emotional when you reflect on it.
I want to say hi to my family back home and my mother, and you know, the Alzheimer's Association for giving me the opportunity to represent them.
It's just an incredible day.
Thank you everyone for watching. This is Ultimate 23 Dragon, and that's my final answer.
As Harvick runs out of fuel, he will pull in right beside his team truck, and now it's all Johnny Benson working his way out of turn number 4. Benson is going to win in Martinsville.